You see money all around me. I look like I'm the man. Yeah, but I was counting up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Crystal and welcome to my channel. If you are not already, please go ahead and you already know, subscribe down below. You guys can see by the title, today's video is going to be a little Q&A. So basically I put the question box on my Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram right here for you guys, but I put the question box on my Instagram for people to like ask me questions, and they can like be literally about anything, and then I was going to come on my channel and answer the questions. So I have the questions here on my laptop, so I'll be like reading the questions and then I'll be answering them, and then of course you guys already know I poured me a glass of wine. So this is actually not like wine, actually it's like peach Bellini, but I think it's like a fruity wine. They only sell it at Trader Joe's. It's so fire. I got my little peach Bellini, and so yeah, let's just dive right into the questions. Okay, so the first question is, what is your zodiac sign? So as you guys saw from the Catalina Island video, my birthday is actually on Labor Day weekend. So my birthday is on September 4th. And I am a Virgo. Yes, my birthday is the same day as Beyonce's. So yeah, so I'm a Virgo. And then the next question is, who's your favorite artist? I feel like this changes like with anyone. So like, of course I was obsessed with Beyonce at one point. She was my favorite artist. Destiny's Child, when they started out, my first concert ever actually was the Destiny's Child concert. After that, it was like Beyonce concert after Beyonce concert after Beyonce concert. Then I kind of fell into this stage where like I was obsessed with Chris Brown, and then I was going to like Chris Brown concert after Chris Brown concert. So it's always been like either Beyonce or Chris Brown, but I definitely say like my favorite artist would change. Like I guess my final answer would be, I don't have a favorite artist, but my favorite artist in the past used to be for sure Beyonce and Chris Brown. So the next question is, what did you always aspire to be when you were growing up? So I actually really like this question. So when I was growing up, I was like obsessed with like kids and like babies and like just taking care of them. And so I wanted to be a pediatrician like so bad. I wanted to you know, go to doctorate school and become a doctor, and then obviously become a pediatrician. That all changed when I went to go get a shot one day and I literally almost passed. Oh no, it wasn't a shot. I think I went to go get my blood drawn, and I literally almost passed out because I saw like the blood coming out of my vein from the needle. I said, yep, nope, that's a wrap for me. They say when I was younger, I used to aspire to be a pediatrician. So the next question is, what's the craziest thing you've ever done in high school? Whew. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you guys, you know, y'all are my, you know, YouTube family, so why not? So I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna take a sip before I tell this story because y'all are gonna be like, what? So, okay. So in high school, I had this group of friends, and like every weekend, we'd go to either one or two of our houses and like spend the night. And one weekend we were all spending the night, and I went to high school somewhere. So I currently live in LA. So I didn't go to high school in LA or LA County. It was like, you know, maybe about an hour away from LA. But I did grow up and I was like raised in LA. So I'm like thinking about this story, like what were we thinking? Sitting there like obviously bored, didn't know what to do, a bunch of 14 to 15-year-old girls. So the name of it was called like Extreme Ding Dong Ditch. But of course we had to like make it extreme for some reason. I have no idea why. I'm literally embarrassed telling this story, but now that I think about it, it's like, what were we thinking? Like in today's world, like that definitely will not happen. But we'd get like those big, I think they were called big gulps. Like, you know how you can go to like 7-Eleven and they have like this big cup and like you can go fill up your big gulps for like $1 or whatever. So my friend at her house, she had a whole bunch of like big gulps. So she's explaining like the rules to us or whatever. So we're like, okay. So she's like, yeah, so we're gonna do it. And we're like, All right, so basically we filled maybe like 2 or 3 big gulps up with faucet water. We fill the big gulps up and she's like, okay, so we're gonna go to the house and ring the doorbell. And then when they open the door, oh my gosh, I'm like so embarrassed to say it. And when they open the door, literally grab the cup and just splash like the water from the big gulp cup in their face. And then run for your life. Oh my God. If my like child ever like told me she did this, I would like go crazy. And then I was even thinking like, if I was on the receiving end of that, I'd think that they were throwing like gasoline, acid, like you never know nowadays. Like you don't open your door to anyone. One of my friends, we were running. They actually came chasing, the guy and his wife came chasing after us. And one of my friends, she just could not keep up. So she went and crawled underneath the car and we're all literally running down the street for dear life. I ended up escaping, but it was literally like every woman for themselves. So yeah, that is probably the craziest thing that I've ever done in high school. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna take another sip to that one because I don't think I've like ever, I don't even think my mom knows that story, but anyways, we're gonna sip to that one. So the next question is dating tips in LA. Whew, this is a lot to break down. I would just say dating in LA as a whole, I'm sure you guys already know, is like a beast within itself. Like dating, first of all, dating in our generation is just so completely different, let alone dating in a city like LA. Dating tips, I don't know. Like, I'd say like be yourself. Like, don't change. If you're ever like, you know, maybe I should do this, and maybe I should like dress this way instead, or maybe I should, you know, change this about me and my personality and who I am, or a core value that you have of yourself, then no, that's not it at all. Like, don't change who you are. You know, you will find your person. I'd say another dating tip in LA would be to really vet someone out. Like, if you guys are only hanging out, like at club scenes or at bar scenes or like only on the weekends, then like, you know, you really don't know that person. So it's like really hard to like, you know, kind of judge them and see if you like actually like them. And I think that's everywhere. I don't even think that's like just LA. I think that's everywhere. But LA specific, it's different. I don't know. So I do have a boyfriend, and prior to him, I never really dated anyone. So it's kind of hard to like give this tip, and I wasn't even looking. I wasn't like, I know people say like you should prepare yourself, you should like read self-help books, you should, you know, be mentally right, you know, physically, emotionally, like, you know, all these things. And I do agree with all those as well, because when that does happen, you know, you aren't looking for the person and the person, you know, can just come. But I also think that there's more to it than, you know, being mentally, because I will say that when I met my person, I probably wasn't like, you know, reading self-help books and like mentally, but when you do meet your person, you can get there. So that's not to say like, oh, I'm not 100% in this area in my life, I'm not 100% in this area of life, I'm not gonna meet my person. Like, no, that's not it at all. You know, you can become that person after you meet your person. I would say that whatever you're interested in and your type is, try to branch out into those types of circles more. You know, obviously don't go to the club thinking you're about to meet like the man of your life, which I don't know, it probably could happen. He could just be on a club that one weekend celebrating his friend's birthday or something. So yeah, that question's hard. That question's definitely hard to answer. Maybe I'll do like another like separate video just on like dating alone, because I have like so much to say and like from my experience to give on that question. But wow. So the next question is a little heavy. I didn't want to get this too heavy. I wanted to keep the questions kind of like fun and light. But the next question says, do you believe gun control solves gun violence? And my answer to that question is no. I'll leave it very short and sweet. I do not believe that gun control solves gun violence. In undergrad, I actually majored in criminology and criminal justice, and I minored in forensic science. So I did a lot of reports and a lot of papers, obviously on like laws and legislations and like, you know, gun control and things of that nature. So I can get really, really deep into this question as well. But to keep my answer very short and sweet, no, I do not think that gun control solves gun violence. I think that the gun violence is way beyond controlling guns at this point. I think it's more so like in people's minds and people's beliefs. So the next question is kind of like a piggyback question off the previous one. Or does it take away rights of law-abiding citizens? I feel like this person knew that I am a criminology, like criminal justice major, because this is like right up my alley. I have a whole essay for you, and I will email it to you. I will send it to you. To answer that one in short as well, I feel like no, it doesn't. Okay, first of all, I do not believe in gun violence. Therefore, if you were to take it away, yes, it does infringe on the right of a law-abiding citizen, of course. I mean, there's probably so many people that keep guns in their houses and, you know, never use them. Or there are some people that probably, you know, keep guns in their houses and have used it, and it has literally saved them and their family's lives. So yeah, I do think that taking it away would infringe on the rights of law-abiding citizens, you know. Side note, Law-Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx is top tier, my favorite movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. So the next question is, what keeps you motivated? I would say that the main thing that keeps me motivated is my future. So having an established future, you know, for me, myself, for the family that I want to build, and then also the family that I, you know, helped raise me. Like I would love to, you know, one day be able to be like, here, you know, this is for you, you know, take care of these bills. So doing that for my family, of course, keeps me motivated. And then another thing that keeps me motivated is the future family that I want to have. I do eventually, you know, want to have family, and I do want to have kids. So like, of course, I try to stay motivated and be the best person I can be, whether it's like work-wise, whether it's like working on my you know, physical health, like to the doctor, whether it's actually working out, you know, eating habits, all of that can trickle down to, you know, your children. So I would say that like building for my family and like wanting to have a, you know, nice, good, successful family really is right now at the moment what is keeping me motivated and keeping me going. Next question is, what are you currently manifesting for your future? I actually love this question. So I am manifesting a lot for my future. I kind of already said it before. I'm manifesting a healthy and happy family. I'm manifesting me, you know, branching out. Obviously, I've started my YouTube now, which I'm so happy that I finally did. I'm so glad you guys are here on this journey with me. Just manifesting positivity. I'm manifesting great vibes. I'm manifesting, I actually started doing my daily devotionals now in the morning. So basically I read like a Bible verse, and then after it, I'll like write down, you know, what it is that I want, what it is that I want to see in my future, what type of person that I see being, how I affect others, how I come off to others, which don't, you know, dwell too much on that, because at the end of the day, you know, it's about you, and others can have their opinion, and who cares about their opinion. The next question is, how did you meet your boyfriend? So, ooh, this is like, I should have actually turned this one into a story time. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a short version. There's a short version and then there's a long version. I'll give you guys a short version. Okay, so short version is a couple years ago, I have a friend who is obsessed with Miami. But every year for her birthday, we'd be like, where do you want to go for your birthday? Where do you want to go? She always said Miami. So this one year she wanted to go. I was like really stressed out with work at the time. And I'm like, you know what? No, like I'm living for today. I'm living for now. This is like my best friend. So yeah, what the heck? So I ended up getting my ticket the day before. Like, I don't even think it was 24 hours. I think it was like 15 hours before my flight, which was the next morning, I ended up getting my ticket and I flew to Miami to surprise her. And while I was on the trip in Miami, so was my boyfriend and like some of his friends, and our groups ended up running into each other in Miami. And sure enough, just like me, he is born and raised in LA, which was so crazy because we were both like, where do you live? No, like, where do you live? LA. Like, do you live in LA? Yeah. Okay, so are we hanging out when we get back? Like, it was, I think I'm gonna make it into a story time because like just how we met is just like so crazy. Like, sparks flew, okay, on the first day, and then we came back to LA. We had like our first like official date, and yeah, here we are like 2.5 years later. So the next question says, what are 3 things that you've learned from being in a serious relationship? Y'all are getting so deep with the questions. I thought these were going to be so surface like questions, and they are so deep. I would say the first thing that I've learned is that you can actually be loved. Like, I don't know why I just always thought that like, oh, no one's gonna like, you know, take me serious, or no one's gonna like truly love me, or like, no, like your person is out there. And I think in the beginning I was like so in denial, like, no, you don't love me. Definitely the first thing is like, you can truly be loved. Like, your love can literally be out there. Like I said, I wasn't looking, so when it came, I was like, wait, what is this? Like, God had to really show me, like, this is the person I'm putting in your life, whatever. So I said that's the first thing. The second thing is compromise. I've always been a compromisable person, not, you know, self-centered or anything. I wouldn't say I am. So compromise, but I think compromise on a different level. When you compromise while being in a serious relationship, it's like completely different, because you're not just like compromising with your sibling, like, okay, I'll clean the kitchen today if you clean the kitchen tomorrow. Like, no, when you're in a serious relationship, like, you compromise on a lot of things. I think I've learned how to like how do I say it, to effectively compromise. And speaking of effectively, I say the third thing I've learned is definitely how to effectively communicate how I feel. I'm someone who like holds things in, and I wait for, you know, caca to hit the fan, which is not good at all, because the other person can be thinking like everything is peaches and cream and you're smiling, so they're even more convinced everything is peaches and cream, when like really it's not. Like, you're really affected. And I used to be like, I don't want this to, you know, ruin XYZ, but like honestly at the end of the day, it's all about how you communicate to someone. So I'd say definitely effectively communicating can accomplish so many things in a relationship. Like, the biggest arguments can like be like 2 minutes long, like, okay, yeah, and then I said this, I feel this, okay, XYZ, okay, I understand, boom. Just from like literally just the way that you communicate with someone. So I'd say that those are 3 things that I've learned in being in like a serious relationship. Y'all are hitting me with the deep questions. We're gonna do another Q&A, and it's gonna be very lighthearted, okay? So the next question is, what is your biggest fear? My biggest fear is how I'm going to leave this earth. I want to leave peaceful and in my sleep. I don't want to leave in a tragedy. I don't want to leave freezing. I don't want to leave drowning. I don't want to leave burning. Like, I just want to leave like peacefully in my sleep. So I'd say my biggest fear is how my physical body, my being, is going to leave this earth. Next question is, do you ever get anxiety? If so, how do you deal with it? I do get anxiety. I actually got anxiety really bad. I'm still learning how to deal with it. I used to get, well, probably still, I haven't had one in a minute, but I have really bad anxiety attacks. And like I mentioned before, I've really trained my mind and my thought process to like one day at a time, one thing. And then if you're in a day and you still are overwhelmed, one thing at a time. You can only do one thing. Your mind can only process one thing. Basically how I've like managed my anxiety is I'm like, this too shall pass, which is my ultimate favorite saying, this too shall pass. And then one thing at a time. The next question is, what is your favorite thing about yourself? I feel like I don't reflect on myself and give myself like props enough, but moment, I'd say my favorite thing currently about myself is resilience. Recently I've just been putting my mind to a lot of things, and I just know the old Crystal from like 2 or 3 years ago would like chuckle like, yeah, okay, like that's what you think you're okay, all right, we'll see. Like, but now this Crystal is like, no, let me try it out, and then if I fail, I fail. Like, I'm human, like, you know. I can be capable of these things. I'd say my favorite thing currently about me is believing in myself. Like, I don't think I've ever had this much self-confidence and courage in myself. I'm looking up and onward and on the bright side. The next question is, do you want kids? Yes, I do want kids. I singular, I want one kid, but like, I don't think I'd ever have an only child, like, because I don't know what I'd do without my siblings. And then I kind of like think about things like, you know, when things get rough for parents, you know, if like you're married, it's kind of a lot on just like that one kid. So like max two, okay? Yes, I do eventually want to have kids. Okay, so this is the last question of the night. It says, what made you choose your career? I started watching shows like movies and shows, whatever, like Law Abiding Citizen, Law and Order, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna be a lawyer. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a lawyer. So that's what made me, I wanted to be a criminal lawyer. So that's what made me major in criminology and criminal justice. I actually studied abroad in Canada at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. I studied forensic science there because that was like gonna be my backup. And then once I graduated, I started working at a law firm, and I said, yeah, no thank you to being a lawyer. Like, I just see myself having a different type of life that I unfortunately see female lawyers in the industry have. You know, less time with their family, a lot of pressure, a lot of late nights. I know one lawyer that I worked with wasn't really around her children, and they were at the ages of 2 and 4, and those are like very pivotal ages of their life. You know, once I discovered that, I no longer wanted to be a lawyer because I do eventually want to have a family, and that's a lot to dedicate to a career. I decided to become a paralegal. So for those of you that don't know what a paralegal is, just think about it as a nurse to a doctor. So a nurse is someone who assists the doctor, right? Basically prepares everything. All the doctor does is like sign off his or her signature. That's basically what a paralegal does. They do everything preparation for the attorney. So at the end of the day, it's their license at fault. Like, same with a doctor. The reason I chose my career obviously was to be into like criminal, and I'm not in that at all. I don't want to be anywhere near that. It gives me so much anxiety. When I was in undergrad, I interned on Golden State Killer Task Force. I don't know if you guys know about the Golden State Killer, but he is actually caught now. And he was a serial killer and rapist in California. You guys should look him up if you haven't heard about him. I learned a lot, and I think it was a great experience. I'm very glad that I did it because it helped me decide that this is definitely not something that I want to go down the line of. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just a person who takes everything to heart, and I literally wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, some of the evidence I would see, or the witness statements, or the victim statements I'd read, I'd literally go home in tears some night because I'm like, this really happened to someone, and like 10, 20, 30 years later, this family is still struggling, or this person is still struggling. Like, I just, to me, couldn't separate it. So I thought that maybe I could stay within the legal fields, but not necessarily do criminal, because it was starting to really affect me personally. And I am still in the legal fields, but more so in the entertainment legal field, not the criminal. So I guess that's kind of like what made me choose my career, and then kind of like how I'm in the career that I'm in now. So those are all the questions that I can do a more in-depth, or like, this was like, it was like a mixture. It was like heavy, and then it was like light, and then it was like relationship, and then it was like, it was kind of like all over the place. But I kind of like doing these Q&As. So like I said, I asked the Q&A thing on my Instagram. So if you don't already, follow me on Instagram, because I'll definitely be doing another one of these soon. You kind of liked a specific topic that I touched on, leave a comment down below, and maybe I can make a more expansive like video, or I can comment more about that specific topic. So that's gonna be it for today's Q&A video. Thank you guys so much for joining me on another video. I can't wait to keep putting out more content for you guys. Again, thank you so much for the love and support. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, if you are not already subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe right now down below. Go ahead and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.
She see money all around me.